Hey guys, I did a thing. Sort of. It's really dim now. But I'm making progress. I don't have to hold my phone. Alright, so yes, I'm back. I'm currently rendering the other video over there on my laptop. So that'll be ready in a few minutes, and then I can upload it, and then this one can get edited and uploaded, and I'll have 2 videos in one night, because I can't sleep until like 2. But yeah, so yeah, in this video I'm going to be telling you how I told my parents that I'm pregnant. I am currently 20 weeks pregnant. I found out that I was pregnant about, I want to say I was 4 weeks. And actually I'll start with how I found out, but that ties into how I told my mom, because I told her like right away. So I have a very regular cycle, so when I was, I want to say like 4 days late, I knew that something was up, and something wasn't right. So we had pregnancy tests in our closet, because my mom had gone off of the Depo shot, so she had them around just in case, because she went through a scare last summer, or the summer before that, I don't remember when it was. But we've had them stocked up since, and they aren't expired yet, because they take forever to expire. So I just went and grabbed one, because I was pretty sure that I already knew, so it wouldn't matter if mom was missing one anyway. And if I wasn't pregnant, then I don't think she would really have noticed or looked, so it wouldn't have been a big deal. And if she did, then I could have just either told her that I had thought I was, or made up an excuse like one of my friends needed or something. So sorry mom if you're watching this. I promise I wouldn't have lied to you, maybe. Depends on how mad you were that day. Yeah, so it was 4:30 in the morning. I had to be to school early that morning to do a thing for class. We had to serve breakfast to the students that were getting like recognized academically. So I had to be at school at, well, I didn't have to be there until like 6 something, but my mom works at the school, so she goes in at like 5:30 every morning. So I just went with her because I didn't want to walk at 6 something in the morning, so I just went with her. So I was up at 4:30 and mom was up too. So before she ran in the bathroom, I grabbed that, and I went to the downstairs bathroom without her seeing it. While she was in the bathroom up here getting ready, I went down there and took the test and then got ready for school. And I came back to look at the test a few minutes after I took it, and it was like a very faint line, but it was obviously there. So I kind of freaked out for a second. I texted my boyfriend at the time, because he knew that I thought that I was pregnant. So I texted him that I was, and not to text me because I figured I was gonna get grounded. So I texted him not to text me at all, but that I was, so that he knew, because he was a senior the year before me, so I wouldn't see him at school or anything, and he was in Chicago at the time, and I live in like the middle of Wisconsin. And he normally obviously lives close to me, but he was doing some school stuff at the time, so yeah, he was away. So I wouldn't see him to tell him, and if I was grounded, then he just kind of wouldn't know for a while. So I texted him, told him, and then I went upstairs after I got ready. We were pretty much ready to go. We kind of had to leave like in the next few minutes, but I wanted to tell her right away because I knew that I wouldn't be able to hide it on my facial expression that something was up, because I see her all day at school because she worked at my school, and I go to her office all the time, and I worked in the cafeteria at lunchtime, so I saw her on a daily basis all the time while I was at school. So I went upstairs, and she was sitting on the couch waiting for me to get ready, and then we were gonna grab like coffee and stuff and go, which I didn't get to have coffee because obviously and it was like going on 5 in the morning now, and I'm not a morning person, so lack of coffee was death that morning. But I went to mom and I handed her my phone before I even said anything. I said, "You're gonna want this," and I handed her my phone. And she looked at me and she always knows when I do something wrong. So she said, "What did you do?" And I said, "Well, when my boyfriend was up visiting," she said, "Yeah," and she knew it was coming at that point. And I said, "Well, I was late and I took a pregnancy test." And you'd think with that, like, she would have, like, okay. And she said, and I'm like, what do you want me to say? Like, I wouldn't be telling you if it was negative. So I said, and it was positive. And I was, like, whispering because I was scared. And then she, like, what? Like, she looked at me and, like, she didn't yell, but she raised her voice for a second. Like, she didn't hear me right, or she was just, like, surprised. So I said it again, and she didn't say anything. And I said, I kept apologizing, and like, I kept saying, "I'm sorry." And she wasn't saying anything. And then she said, "It's okay." She was a young mom too, so she understood. She was 16 when she had my older brother and 19 when she had me, so she understood. Like, she obviously was upset, but she'd gone through it and it wasn't the end of the world for her. So she said it was okay when I apologized. And then I said, "Do you want to see it?" And she said, "Yeah." So I went down and got it and brought it up to her, and she looked at it and she said, "Okay." And then she looked right away. We ended up being a little bit late, but it was okay. Because she's the first person that gets there at work, so it didn't really matter. She kind of chooses her own hours. So she was looking on her phone. She looked up if they could be wrong. She looked at it and she said, "I don't want to scare you or anything," but she did find that they could be wrong. And then we got to school, and, like, I was very tearful that day. I didn't know what to say, really. And then my mom told one of her coworkers right away because she needed someone to talk to, and then she told my brother too because he worked at the school. We all worked at the school. My older brother, and he called me stupid, so that was nice. I was already emotional, and he didn't call me stupid. He said I was a dumbass. So yeah, that wasn't fun. But and then when he saw me, he laughed at me too. So brotherly love right there, sibling love. So then the rest of the day, like, I went to the, not guidance counselor, but the like, receptionist, almost secretary in the student services office. But she wasn't one of the guidance counselors. She just worked in the office and stuff, and then she acted as nurse and resource for people. And I had gotten pretty close with her over the past 4 years, and she worked with my mom, so I knew her. Like, we had a joking relationship. We kind of insulted each other a lot all the time because it was more like we were friends than, like, student and teacher. So I was really close with her, so I was comfortable going to talk to her. So I went into the student service office because Mom said that I should probably go talk to her and see if maybe they do tests so I can do it again, or, like, resources that they might have. So I went to her, and there were people in there, so I just asked if I could talk to her alone. And we went back to the nurse's office, and it was empty, and I told her that I'd taken a pregnancy test that morning, and it was positive, and she immediately, like, jumped into helping mode, which was really awesome, because it helped me a lot. So she called down the actual nurse for the district to see if she would be in the building, because she normally spends most of her time at the elementary school, and she said that she would be there, or she said on the phone what was going on. She didn't say, like, who. She just said that she had a student in the office who found out this morning that they were pregnant, and she wanted her to come over to the school, and she said she'd be right over. So she waited with me, and I kind of distracted her from her job all morning because she was in the back with me most of the time. And they gave me a lot of, like, helpful resources, what I could do, what I was planning to do, because most people kind of have an idea right away, and I said parenting, and so they gave me a lot of resources. And she goes to the same doctor's office as me, so she said that My doctor would see me, they won't see me until after 10 weeks, unless I thought that I was farther along or didn't know my due date or when I got pregnant or what. But I knew exactly when I got pregnant, so I knew that I was only like 4 weeks in. So she helped me schedule an appointment in the office that day. And we scheduled it for 10 weeks later. Or not 10 weeks later, but like 6 weeks later. So it would be 10 weeks. And then I hadn't told my dad yet at that point. A few days after I found out, I texted him that I needed to talk to him that weekend because it was his weekend to go see him. And he said okay, and he asked if I was in any trouble or anything. And I said, no, ... we'll just talk this weekend. And he was worried, and he said okay. So that Friday we went down, and we meet like halfway because my dad lives like an hour and a half away from where my mom lives. So we meet halfway there, and we were in the car at the place that we meet, and Dad said, so what's up? And I said, can we wait till we get home? And he said, not really, because I've been freaking out about it for the past couple days. So I got quiet, and then he just said, you're not pregnant, are you? And I didn't say anything, and he said, I kind of figured with the way that you said that we needed to talk. So he figured it out from when I said that I wanted to talk to him. So that got that out of the way, and his reaction was different than Mom's. He reminded me a few times in the car then that I screwed up, which I knew, obviously. But it upset me that he was upset, and he said, like, you know, everything was gonna change now, and I understood that. And I know that my parents were still gonna have that talk with me, even though I understood that, because it was just kind of something that was important to discuss, and that they had to remind me of, regardless of if I knew it or not. But it made me upset that he said it that many times. So when we got back to his house, he lives with his mom and his mom's mom, so his mom and grandma, my grandma and great-grandma, and I told my grandma that night, so his mom. So she guessed it too when I asked her to talk to her in her room. So I did end up going home again that night. My mom came and picked me up, and then we ended up having to go pick up my boyfriend from Milwaukee, which was not fun because I was really mad at him over an argument that we got into. So I didn't really talk to him much that weekend, but he was or so he said, he was stranded. So we went and picked him up, and then I went home that night, and me and Dad kind of didn't talk as much for a little bit after that, but everything's okay now. My mom's really excited. My dad's actually really excited too. He tells everyone that he sees at work that he's gonna be a grandpa, and it's not what I expected from him. So everything's okay now, and I got over that bit of it. And yeah, so that was a really long-winded story. Still kept it under 20 minutes though. But that is how I found out, what I did after I found out, and how I told my parents that I was pregnant, am pregnant. So, yeah, that's that. If you're going through something similar, hopefully that helped. If not, message me and I can maybe offer some kind of advice or tips. Because I've gone through it. I may not be the best at explaining things when I'm talking, but I'm just a really awkward person. I'm really good at explaining things when typing. So that's pretty much it for this video. Tomorrow I'll be making a weeks 1 through 20 video on everything that's happened so far dealing with my pregnancy. And then hopefully next week sometime I might make a haul video. And either Sunday or Monday I'll be making my 21 week update. So that's kind of what's to come, and that's pretty much it. That's all I have for this video. So I will be making a video tomorrow, and I will see you then. And it's going on like 1:15ish now. So have a good night, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys.